Imagine discovering a hidden treasure during the chaos of war, a treasure so beautiful and valuable that it becomes your lifelong secret. This is the story of Joe Meter, a World War II lieutenant who stumbled upon a dazzling collection of medieval art in a German mine shaft. Joe wasn't just any soldier, he was the one who had the audacity to claim these treasures as his own and the desperate need to keep them for 35 years. In the small town of Whitewright, Texas, Joe was a quiet hardware store owner who cared for his aging mother and tended to his orchids. But 60 miles away in Dallas, he lived a completely different life, openly homosexual and enjoying the finer things in life. Joe's two worlds rarely intersected, and he cultivated each image as meticulously as he cared for his orchids. The one constant in Joe's life was the knowledge that he possessed something extraordinarily beautiful and valuable. The Quedlinburg treasures were Joe's lifelong companions, providing a satisfaction he couldn't find in personal relationships. Even when he knew he was dying, Joe couldn't let go of the treasures that had become a part of him. The Meter family hardware store in Whitewright was a utilitarian, musty place that Joe must have hated. Across the street, the First National Bank of Whitewright held the medieval objects Joe's siblings stored after his death. The town of Whitewright closed ranks around Joe's family when they faced a lawsuit to reclaim the treasures. Joe's parents were prominent in the community, but Joe was different, a shy and quiet individual who was often shunned. He studied art and architecture, traveling to France and New Mexico for further education before the war. Joe enlisted in the Army 2 days after Pearl Harbor, serving admirably despite being mocked for his effeminate manner. After the war, Joe returned to Whitewright, a place that was not his world, and reluctantly joined the family business. Joe's passion for orchids began in 1954, leading him to build 3 greenhouses and fill them with over 6,000 plants. In Dallas, Joe transformed into a different person, enjoying contemporary furniture, art, and a vibrant social life. He wore pressed slacks, silk shirts, and gold jewelry, a stark contrast to his work clothes in Whitewright. Joe's Dallas apartment was filled with fine and unusual objects, a sanctuary from his small-town life. Joe's relationships in Dallas evolved as he aged, becoming a patron to younger gay men who appreciated his sophistication. Despite his double life, Joe remained devoted to his mother, rushing to her side whenever she called. Joe's involvement in the orchid community grew, and he became a judge for the American Orchid Society. He founded a regional orchid association and started a quarterly magazine, the Southwest Orchid Review. Joe's sense of unfulfillment was a constant theme, tied to a hurt he never talked about and his search for beauty. The medieval town of Quedlinburg was the source of the treasures Joe found, hidden in a mine shaft during the war. Joe's friends and family occasionally saw the treasures, but he never tried to sell them, only to admire them. In 1978, Joe's mother died, leaving him inconsolable and his drinking worsened. Joe's friends in Dallas tried to protect him as his health declined, but he continued to divide his time between Whitewright and Dallas. Diagnosed with prostate cancer, Joe underwent operations and chemotherapy, but it was too late. Joe attended a reunion of his battalion in 1979, looking ravaged by illness but showing courage. Joe Meter died in 1980, leaving behind a legacy of beauty and mystery, his two worlds finally merging at his funeral.